I'm doing everything I can and I still can't gain muscle. I hear this on a regular basis. Lots of people will tell me how they are trying this and they're trying that and they're doing all these different things. And I'll ask them, what's your training look like? And they send me this training program that they're doing, and it is just unbelievable. I mean, they've got everything in there. I mean, they're not missing anything. They're squatting, they're deadlifting, they're pressing, and then they've got a ton of isolation work. They've got the leg extensions and the hamstring curls and the, bicep curls and tricep extensions and pull downs and, rows and, I mean, you name it, they're doing all of it. They really mean it when they say, I'm doing everything. They are. And that's the mistake. That is the mistake. I know it sounds counterintuitive, and this is something I had to learn myself. As an athlete, my philosophy oftentimes was, if I'm not making progress, I just need to work harder. So anytime that progress would, slow down or plateau, or worse yet, go backwards, I just need to go harder. My mile time is slowing down. I need to add more miles. I need to run more. My splits, whenever I was clocking myself on, swimming and stuff like that, I'm looking at it and I'm going, I'm getting slower. I need to spend more time in the pool. I need to train even harder. I need to work harder. My squat starts going backwards and it's like, I'm squatting 3 times a week. I need to bump it to 4. It continues to go down 5 times a week. Continues to go down 6 times a week. Continues to go down. I'll push it to 7. My heart goes out to you, actually. I don't want you to think that I'm being critical of you. I'm actually saying I make the same mistake. My knee-jerk reaction when I'm not making progress is try even harder. And that's a good characteristic to have in a lot of situations, right? A lot of situations, if you're not making progress, you just need to work a little harder. However, for many people, this actually is a double-edged sword, and it cuts both ways, and you screw yourself. And so you're working so hard that you're actually going backwards because you're doing too much. This isn't necessarily true in some aspects. Let's say you're trying to learn a new language or you're trying to learn physics or math. Yes, you may need to work harder. And spending more time, practicing, your French or your Spanish or whatever language it is that you're trying to learn, yes, that will probably help you. If you're trying to learn calculus, if you spend more time studying calculus, you'll probably become better at it. But your body doesn't play that game. If your mile time is slowing down, you're probably fatigued. And so adding more miles just makes you more fatigued. And if your legs are fried and, your squat is starting to go backwards, doing more squats is just going to further fry your legs and you're going to continue to go backwards. So this amazing thing happens whenever people come to me and I just simply reduce their training volume and suddenly they're like, holy crap, I don't understand. My numbers started going up because I started doing less. And that's right. Do less. Now, I'm going to give you a hack so you don't have to go and hire a coach or you don't have to find someone like me and ask them to help you. Okay? Here's what you're going to do. I want you to sit down and think about a situation. Let's say you only have 15 minutes to train. What would you do with that 15 minutes? What would you prioritize? What's the most important thing you could possibly do with that 15 minutes? And now we're going to limit ourselves and we're going to say, okay, so that's how you would approach it if you only had 15 minutes. I'm going to give you 30 minutes and say, but you only can train 3 times a week. What are you going to focus on? How are you going to invest that time wisely to get the most reward for it, right? You want the most bang for your buck. You want the most return on your investment. So you have 90 minutes total. You're going to break it up into 3 workouts. If all you had was 30 minutes, 3 times a week, what would you focus on? What would you prioritize to get the most return on your investment? Okay? When I put it that way, suddenly you're going to stop and say, ooh, guess I don't need to spend all that time doing pull downs. And maybe I should just hit some weighted pull-ups and be done. And I probably don't need to do a whole bunch of leg extensions, hack squats, leg presses, etc. I should focus on squatting, and 30 minutes of good heavy squatting, that's going to be the workout, instead of 15 other Bulgarian split squat movements and all these other things like that. And certainly for the press, right? You're going to be like, well, I'm going to spend 30 minutes pressing heavy. I'm not going to spend that 30 minutes doing bicep curls and skull crushers. You're going to go something heavy. You're going to press and maybe row. Maybe you'll superset. Right? I'll do a heavy overhead press and a heavy bent over row. And that's what I'm going to do for those 30 minutes. And that is the secret. The secret to fixing this problem is not for you to do even more. It's not for you to add in, another 2 hours worth of accessory movements. Okay? It is for you to stop and think about what are the most important things for you to hit. If you have minimal time and, there's restraints in place, right? I said 30 minutes 3 times a week. You can't do 50 different exercises in 30 minutes. But you can choose one and hit it really hard. And so you're going to be more likely to choose the one that gives you the most bang for your buck. It's really that simple. I could make a 20-minute long video of telling you all the different secrets, like, hey, instead of doing this, do this, or instead of doing this, do this. But at the end of the day, you're going to figure it out yourself. If you know that, hey, when I do power cleans, my deadlift goes up, well, you're going to spend your time doing power cleans instead of deadlifts. If you know that overhead pressing makes my bench press go up, you're going to spend your time doing overhead presses. If you know that front squats make your back squat go up, you're going to spend your time doing front squats, right? Like, these things already because you've experienced them. And my point to you is that instead of adding more, instead of doing more, you're going to focus on quality instead of quantity of work. And so you're going to choose the things that matter the most. You're going to hammer those as hard as you can for 30 minutes. And then you're going to go eat, and you're going to rest, and you're going to recover. And you will find that this magically makes people make more progress. Why? Because you're not digging yourself a huge hole. You're taking 1 step back, and then your recovery is taking 2 steps forward. If you dig yourself a huge hole, you're taking like 3 steps back, and so when you take those 2 steps forward, you still have 1 step behind. If you're not getting stronger, if you're not getting better, maybe the answer is to do a little bit less so that you have more recovery instead of do more and dig a deeper hole. And that really is what it comes down to for a lot of people. Don't get me wrong, I'm one of the first people to speak up and tell people that you're not training hard enough, because there are a lot of people who come in and they are not training hard enough. They just kind of like, I'm going to do some of these, right? They do some of these and then some of these and then some of these and some of these. And week after week they come in and pick up the 10-pound dumbbells and do, 2 sets of 20 reps with 10-pound dumbbells. If that's you, yes, you do need to train harder. But for the guys who are really pushing it hard and you're working hard, that you're working as hard as you can, you're beat up and you're sore and you're tired and you're exhausted, well, for you, this would be a good opportunity for you to do less. In fact, one of the things I like to point out to people is, are you hungry at the end of your workout? If you find that your hunger has decreased by the end of your workout, you've gone too hard. That's a really good marker. If you finish your workout and you're like, man, I'm so tired I don't even want to eat, you did too much. Okay? You should work out and, well, you should be hungry afterwards. If it suppresses your appetite, you went way too hard. It's that simple. Now, for some people, you're always hungry anyways. It makes no difference. And in that case, you really do need to just keep a logbook. Pay attention. Are you getting stronger? Are you getting 1 more rep? Are you getting 1 more set? If not, try doing a little bit less. Give yourself a little, like a cushion, if you will, right? Do a little bit less than you think you need to, because it's the name of the game. You stimulate, don't annihilate. Too many people come into the gym and they try to do as much as they can, and they're missing the point. You should only do as much as you can recover from. There's no sense in you doing as much as you possibly can, because anyone can work themselves to exhaustion. that doesn't mean you can necessarily recover from that. And so, a week later, your legs are still sore, and it's like, well, you did too much. I mean, we've all done that. We've all done that thing where we squatted so heavy that we couldn't even walk up and down stairs the next day. You did too much. Okay? So the better solution for you is to do enough, right? What a weird concept. Don't do minimum, don't do maximum, do optimal, right? Do enough that you make progress. You want to stimulate growth. You want to stimulate, these processes in the body. But you shouldn't do so much that, like, oh, I can't recover from it. Well, that's why you're going backwards. So when you add even more volume, you're not going to recover from that either. I mean, if you're already doing so much that you can't recover, why would doing more somehow help you to make progress? It just doesn't even make logical sense. But we all fall into this trap, myself included. It's like, hey, my mile time is going down, well, going up, but it's getting worse, right? My performance is going down, so I'll train even harder. And that never works. It always comes back to bite you in the ass. Good on you for having work ethic. I commend you. Work ethic is a great thing. You're willing to work harder. But it will bite you in the ass. And so, do less.